On that midsummer night of Friday the 13th in 1990, Jenna, Kate, Tommy, and I were out cruising. Tommy, who was 21, had managed to get us a case of beer. We were searching for a cool spot to relax and enjoy a few drinks. Tommy suggested that roughly 30 minutes away, there was a lighthouse overlooking Lake Ontario, with a small beach close by for us to hang out. Initially, we were all hesitant, me especially, but eventually warmed up to the idea, realizing we had no better plans for our summer weekend. Thus, we embarked on our adventure. Drawing closer to our destination, the beacon of the lighthouse became increasingly visible with each pass, signaling our nearing arrival. Honestly, I was grateful for Tommy taking charge of the logistics. I was clueless about our whereabouts, and the area didn't seem too welcoming at that late hour, with its narrow private roads and thinly scattered homes. Nonetheless, Tommy found a spot to park the car. We collected a few essentials, some towels to sit on, a wise suggestion by the girls, and our beer. Following Tommy, who had been to this spot before, took the lead, guiding us through the night's escapade. We were led through clusters of trees, carefully avoiding any potential nearby residents as we made our way toward the shore. Upon emerging onto the beach, a refreshing cool breeze greeted us, accompanied by the soothing rhythm of waves breaking against the rocks. Up the shore to the right, the lighthouse's beam swept in a steady circle, casting a captivating glow that added to the night's enchantment. Tommy initiated the evening by popping open the first beer. I had considered joining in, but since I had committed to driving us back later, I opted to stay sober. I may had sneaked a couple sips in from Jenna, who I was dating. We then settled on some open spots among the beach rocks, relaxing in the vibrant atmosphere and savoring the refreshing lake breeze enhanced by the intermittent glow of the signal's guiding light. "Did you guys hear that?" asked Kate. We all looked over at her while giving a moment to listen. After a pause, none of us had heard anything. She insisted it sounded like someone had called out. Tommy, who was cuddled up next to her as they were dating, laughed and said she was just trying to spook us. "No, for real," she insisted. After a brief silence, she unleashed a spooky deep roar and thrust her hands forward, aiming to startle us. "You're so dumb," Tommy teased, casually taking another sip of his beer. We all shared a laugh before our focus drifted back to the vast lake, twinkling with stars. While the lighthouse faithfully sent out its signals and our conversation flowed from one subject to the next, an odd sight abruptly caught my eye. Looking out towards the darkened horizon, I spotted what seemed to be a few people in the water. "Check that out. Does it look like there's some people out there?" I inquired, gesturing towards the figures waiting in the water, highlighted by the sweeping glow of the lighthouse's beam. "Who would be out there at this time?" Jenna questioned. I instinctively drew near to Jenna, feeling slightly spooked. Tommy suggested they could just be some locals, yet he admitted the situation was odd given the time. Instead of swimming, they seemed to be just standing silently in the water, seemingly watching us without movement. Despite our attempts to concentrate on something else, staying detached proved challenging. This effort was further complicated when sounds started to resonate from their location shortly after. We tried to listen closely, but the sound of the waves interfered, making it hard to distinguish the noises. They appeared to be drifting farther into deeper waters. "Oh my God, I think they need help, guys," Jenna pointed out, as the sounds intensified and began to sound like desperate pleas. "How are we supposed to help, Jenna?" Tommy questioned, gazing at the silhouettes as another circling beam passes. "I'm getting creeped out, guys," Kate confessed, with all of us glued to the scene. As the figures gradually vanished into the darkness, Tommy couldn't help but laugh. "Oh man, that's so creepy. Stop it, they might be in real danger," Kate retorted. Kate proposed we look for help, but the suggestion was quickly dismissed when Tommy pointed out our situation involving drinking, trespassing, and the improbability of anyone taking our story seriously. "Holy crap, guys," I blurted out, my attention caught by something among the shoreline rocks, I gestured towards where my eyes were locked. "Looks like there's someone there," I mentioned, my thoughts immediately jumping to the possibility of stumbling upon a corpse. "We should take a closer look," suggested Tommy. With careful steps, we proceeded to approach the spot, with the lighthouse's beams sweeping overhead, and as we moved closer, a voice suddenly pierced the silence, pleading, "Help me, please, help me." We turned towards the open water from where the sound seemed to emanate but saw nothing. "Okay guys, I'm freaking out," Kate voiced again, her anxiety clearly escalating. Kate and Jenna made it clear they did not desire advancing any further, leaving it to Tommy and me to explore the figure nestled in the rocks. As we slowly approached, I noticed my heart starting to beat faster. Tommy moved forward and with a hint of amusement declared, "Ha! It's only a towel," as he lifted a soaked towel from the rocks. "Just a towel," he repeated after briefly gazing the surroundings again. The wave of relief that washed over me with those words was immense. Glancing back at the girls and noticed their stress fade away too. I think we all felt at this point that given it's Friday the 13th, and with the events that had already unfolded, that anything moving forward was going to creep us out. We made our way back to the case of beers we had planted not far. I stopped for a moment to gaze out to the open water and see if I could spot those people we saw earlier. And just at that moment, I heard a man's voice yelling from behind us. A lighthouse keeper came toward us, visibly worried, mentioning he was on the verge of contacting the police. We quickly reassured him, explaining that we were simply enjoying the scenery and the lighthouse's presence on an eerie night, with no intention to cause any trouble. We then struck up a conversation with him, sharing our experiences of the night. He was actually a pretty nice guy. Although we offered him a beer, he declined. He mentioned that he was unaware of anyone who would venture out like that, and shared a few of his own eerie tales during his service at the lighthouse, a few echoing our own stories. It was a nice end to our night filled with mystery. Before we left, I sought a final solitary moment to look out over the vast lake, sensing that this experience would linger in my memory forever. I wanted to savor that last view, staring into the dark, endless expanse, with the ceaseless motion of the waves and the reassuring light of the lighthouse as my companion. Though I did scan for those figures seen earlier, I accepted it as just something beyond this world, smiling at the thought of our incredible Friday the 13th night. Jenna's tap on my shoulder came as a gentle prompt hinting, "Let's go."